What's up, tubers? Tio here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight for more lake breakdowns. We actually just finished up Lake Pickwick, got it out on our site, and now tonight we're going to start the breakdown. So this lake covers basically Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. So we've got a lot to cover in this one. Stick around, it's going to be a good one. For whatever lake it is we're breaking down. And in this case, we're breaking down Pickwick Lake. Now, this one's interesting because it covers Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama. And I got to be honest with you, I went out to the Mississippi and Alabama fishing pages. I can't find anything really about the lake or the river, whatever you want to call it. I mean, there's stuff about it, but as far as fish attractors, habitats, and stuff like that, couldn't find anything from Mississippi or Alabama. Now, there is an article that was out there for fishing Mississippi for brush piles, and it's from Mississippi Outdoors. You can find it by just doing a Google Earth. But if you do that, it gives you 10 spots for crappie fishing, which are probably good for bass fishing as well. So you may want to go check those out. Tried putting the coordinates in for you guys, but it just didn't work out. So go read the article. Maybe you can figure it out and add those coordinates to your collection. So as far as this lake goes, let's just go ahead and look at it from the Tennessee standpoint. Pickwick Reservoir is 43,100 acres. This thing is a giant. In the Tennessee, it's managed by the Tennessee Valley Authority. Mainstream reservoir and water levels fluctuate between 414 feet above sea level to basically 408, which is the winter pool. So apparently, shifts 6 to 8 feet, something like that. So quite a bit. Then you can see here the reservoir lies within the state of Tennessee, Alabama, and Mississippi. Approximately 6,159 acres in Tennessee. A couple more things about here. Maximum depth in the Tennessee side is 85 feet. And then if you look down, it does say that there are deep water fish attractors that have been constructed and installed to concentrate the fish for the anglers. So I was like, that's interesting. So what can we find here? So if we move over here and we actually go to interactive map, it will tell us what they have done. I'm going to agree to this. And it will tell us where these brush piles are. So what I've done is I've gone through and I've taken the coordinates from this page, just from the Tennessee Valley Authority, and I've taken those brush piles and I've actually put them over here as fish attractors on Pickwick Lake. So you'll see them here. You'll see they look like little trees. So we've got them all marked here for you. That will be part of the SD card as well. We just found those out today by just doing some research. So next up would basically be, let's see what kind of fish they have out here. And if you look right here at the very end, best bets, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, sunfish, and catfish. And if you have any questions, you can contact the TWR regional office right here, Pickwick Landing State Park. All right, so with all that being said, let's go ahead and switch over. Let's jump into Google Earth. You just saw a little snippet of it, and let's start breaking this thing down. Get started. Here we are in Google Earth, and what I want to show you is over here on the left-hand side. This is Pickwick Lake with all the waypoints that we have. What I want to do is I really just want to show you how we have it broke down as far as the different categories that are on this lake. So obviously, giant lake covers tons and tons and tons of acres. We talked about that, but let's break it down into just little sections, and then we'll talk about each part. So let's just look up here in the Tennessee section. You can see these blue lines. Those are actually the state lines. So this is right where all three of the states kind of converge together. But anyways, let's go ahead and pull this back and show you over here on the left-hand side. So first off, we have channels and ditches. Now, the reason why we do this is because we're really big, at least I'm really big, on fishing creek channels. And I love to position my boat perfectly in those creek channels. And the challenge is when you get into some of the mapping that we have on our Navionics and whatever you might have, Humminbird as well, but Humminbird or Lowrance. But any of those, it shows you the creek channels, but sometimes it's not dead on. I mean, it's really close, but it's not dead on. These are dead on because we're actually using satellite imagery to actually, mark that creek channel for you. So you'll see it here in Google Earth as a green line. You'll see it on your graph when you import in the SD cards, just as a track into your device. You've also got a couple more creek channels up here. Of course, we're going to talk about all this stuff here in a second. We've also got lots of different covers. So laydowns, hard spots, brush piles, uh, bluff walls, pretty much anything that we could find that we wanted to mark down for you guys, that looked of significance, grass. We went ahead and marked for you. We've also got a lot of different offshore hotspots, which we'll cover that when we move in through this series. We're going to start off on the Google Earth side. I'll show you everything that I found using the satellite imagery from Google Earth, and then we'll go into a new series where we'd use web app Navionics, or we'll actually use the Navionics mobile app to show you the contours on this lake or this river system and show you the different hotspots that we believe would be good areas to fish based on the contours and the way the lake sets up and things like that. So definitely going to have a lot of stuff to cover for this lake, and we'll be talking about it for several different videos. We also have ramps. So we go ahead and mark all of the ramps. Now here in Texas, that's a great pattern to run, especially during the springtime, kind of mid-springtime. They love to set up on those ramps, and the bluegill like to spawn on those ramps. So if the bluegill like to spawn on the ramps, the bass like to be there as well. It's a great place to really it's not really a great place, but a great pattern to run. Now, obviously, you can't run on the main boat ramps. There's too much activity, but all these little smaller boat ramps that might not have a lot of activity, they've got fish around them. You definitely need to take a look. Now, we've also got a lot of different rock. Now, obviously, there's a lot of rock all throughout this lake, but these are like different places where we found shallower rock that you could fish, or certain types of rock formations or big rock areas that you might want to fish, rock piles that we could find, all of that good stuff. So we went ahead and marked all of those. And then we also have different types of structures. Most of these structures are it's not structure like looking at your map and looking on the contours. It's not that kind of structure. It's man-made structures like tie-ups and things like that you can fish around. I don't know if we can actually see it here on that image, but we'll see it once we go through the breakdown. And then last but not least, we have the fish attractors that I talked to you about. I was only able to find those on the Tennessee side, but here are the ones that we were able to find. If I find more in Mississippi and Alabama, I'll definitely add them. And then, as I mentioned, do a Google search on the Mississippi side. It looks like they have about 10 different spots that you can fish, especially for crappie. But if you can find the crappie, you find the bass fairly close by typically. So you definitely want to look into that. I tried putting those coordinates in, but they just didn't want to take into Google Earth. So let's go ahead and select everything except for the offshore stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this view and I'm going to hide the sidebar so we don't have that. And I've already done some research on this lake, and I know that the best image we can get is actually in 2020, believe it or not. So what we're going to do on this series is we're going to break it down. I'm just going to start, and we're going to cover Tennessee. So we'll do the Tennessee portion of Pickwick Lake first. Then once we get that series done, we'll move over and we'll do the Mississippi side of Pickwick Lake, and we'll do that whole series. And then last but not least, we'll cover the Alabama side, which is the biggest side for Pickwick Lake. We'll do all of that as well as part of this series. So let's go ahead and start up here in Tennessee. And if you live in Alabama and you don't want to run all the way up the river to get into the Tennessee portion, don't worry. It's coming soon, but we do have all these waypoints already out on our website, simplisticfishing.com, that you can pick up. Just know that the video is coming soon. So let's start up here by the dam. And first thing we're going to do by the dam is we're going to move this date down to 2020. And actually, I'm going to pull this back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go find just a little creek channel or something, probably right here. This is probably the best one. And I'm going to see when I can get the best image of that creek channel. And as you can see right there, January of 2020, the lake was pretty far down. You've got a really nice creek channel that you can see that we marked for you guys. So that's the date that we're going to go with. So let's move up here to the dam. We'll start at the dam and work our way down. So obviously, when you get up here close to the dam, you've got riprap and rock and stuff like that. And I don't know if you can fish here or not. I've never actually fished Pickwick Lake. I'm just doing the breakdown. So hopefully you can fish around here. But obviously, anytime you can get to a dam where you've got riprap that you can fish around, that's go time. You want to take a look at that. Now, we did mark just a couple different things. We got a little bit of a bluff wall going on right here. You can see which looks pretty good. And it definitely starts about right here and goes to right in here. Now, I like fishing the edges of those bluff walls. We'll talk about that a lot more when we switch over and we talk about the contours on this lake. We'll talk about those bluff walls and the hot spots that I believe are the best spots to fish when you're fishing those bluff walls, because they can be massive and very challenging if you're just trying to see where you think the fish might be located. So as we move up here up the bank line, just coming off of there, first thing we're going to see up here, obviously, is just some laydowns. So those can be really good, especially when the bass are moved up really shallow like they are right now. It's March 20th, so I'm sure in your region as well. I'm in Texas, but spawn is on, and the fish are very, very shallow. So this type of stuff is great stuff for them to be able to attract to you. You've also got some more laydowns in here as well. Now, as far as the spawn being on, though, I'm not sure I'd stay out here in Main Lake, to go find the spawn. I'd be trying to find these little pockets and places where there's not much current. The water's a little bit clear, getting a little bit away from the creeks and looking into more of those coves that don't have a lot of activity in them. Those are going to be your better spots. And obviously, any cove that you can find where you've got a bank line that faces north or northwest, that's going to help you out as well during this time of spawn. So let's keep moving up and just talk about some other stuff we found here. Obviously, more laydowns. We've got some more rock that's out here too. This looks like it could be a really good area, during certain times of the year. So that could be really good as well. Moving on up, you got some more, just a little, I guess you'd call almost like a jetty that shoots out with a little bit of rock here. So if you got some current coming in, those are great places for them to set up behind and ambush the fish, or set up actually in front and let the fish go up over the top of them. They'll do multiple things. So definitely good places. Now, we were talking about spawning earlier. Obviously, if you're working in that time of the year, you want to get back in some of these pockets, and these pockets can be really good. They're very well protected from the wind and everything else. Not a lot of activity in them. So definitely would be good places to go look. As you move in here, you'll see we've got a lot of rock all along this seawall. We've got another little rock pile that's right here. It kind of sticks out. I like that one. I could see me doing some shaky head business on that. And then moving back here, you've also got a lot of riprap. So getting up there with a shallow diving crankbait and pounding it across that could be really, really good. This whole area in here just looks really juicy from a springtime standpoint. We've also got some more rock along this seawall as well. You can see it right in here. Great places for them to set up on. And then as we move out, we come over here to this pocket. You'll see here right off this point, look at this giant rock formation that's out here. Now, telling me that there can't be fish attracted to that kind of stuff. I mean, there's got to be. So you definitely want to take a look at that. And then we move back in here into the pocket. I don't think we see anything else. Moving down, if you can get back in here behind these docks, I don't know if you can or not. They'll probably yell at you for fishing around the docks. But if not, get behind this, right? Get behind it and actually fish up in here behind the dock. I think you're going to have some success there if you're allowed to do it. Now, this point, obviously, a main lake point right off the river channel. It's going to be good. It's got rock on it. It's definitely going to be good. So you definitely want to fish that point right there. Also, just some more rock that we're pointing out, as you can see, just little points of rock that come out. Maybe they're bigger than the other ones, or they stick out more. Here you can see, kind of don't have a lot of bank line, don't have a lot of stuff going on the bank line, but here on this point, you've got rock off the edge here and rock right in here that looks really good. Another good main lake point on a river channel swing too. It looks like it swings up a little bit here. That could be really juicy. Let's go ahead and go on back in this pocket, see what else we can find. I'm jumping around left and right. Typically, I'll stay just on one bank line. But as we come down into here and we get off, actually, I think I missed a pocket here. So I'm going to back up and show you guys where I'm at. So I was right here. I was in Quarry Hollow. I'm going to come out of Quarry Hollow. We're going down the main bank line here. I got distracted by this point. But definitely take a look at that point. You've also got that little rock there I told you about. And then moving up here, another really good pocket, right? Looks really good. Let's see what else is up here. We've got a little bit of rock over here off of the edge of this point. We've got some rock right here, but I don't know how you could get to that. You might have to come in here and get inside of this dock and then cast over the dock to get to it. But I can see them setting up around that kind of stuff. We've also got a boat ramp back here, some additional rock that's back here as well. Bit of rock right here off of this point. Now, this is a great secondary point, kind of like this one was as well. So definitely one that you want to take a look at, do some exploring on. But I love how it has that hard surface and that rock just outside of that point. Now, as we move over here, we get more to this main lake point that I was just talking about. You can see more rock around this point too, so you know that's going to be a really good point. Like we talked about earlier, it looks like it's part maybe of a river channel swing there, so that's definitely going to be a very high percentage area. And then as we move over, we see a little bit more rock. There's a little bit of rock back here behind this dock that maybe you could fish, a little bit more off these points in here. As we move further back, you're going to see one thing, you're going to see a creek channel back here. So that's really nice. You'll be able to fish around the creek channel, see what you can find. My guess is right in around this bank line, right around in here, is going to be a very high percentage area for them to be at. Also, you've got a little bit of rock back here behind these docks. So when you're fishing these docks, from what we're seeing on most of this stuff is you got to get back behind them in order to get to the good stuff. So you can see we've got rock back here, but it's going to be tough to get to. You maybe you'll squeeze the boat in here and then make your cast back into those areas. And then maybe over here, you might have to just go up here or go over here by this little walkway and cast over in order to get to that area in there where that rock is. Now, as we move out of this pocket and get a little bit further out towards the main lake, just some more rock that's around these points. You'll see when I zoom in, you can see there's pretty heavy rock around this little rounded point here. You've also got a little more rock in here, kind of scattered throughout this bank line all the way through this whole side. So definitely some good stuff to look at. And then you got more all along here as well. So great areas for crankbaiting and things like that. That's just a great spot. This is your bluff wall that's there. And then as we get up here into this next little pocket, I'm going to zoom back out and kind of show you where I'm at. It says I'm in Short Hollow. So you can see I've gone through those. And now I'm going to come in here to this little short one, which would make sense. Short Hollow. So as we go in, first point we see as we go in, it's got a little bit of rock on it. We've also got a little bit more rock here behind this dock. And I don't think we found anything else going back in that pocket, but that looks like a really good pocket to go fish during certain times of the year. And then also as we zoom out here, the image gets a little bit trickier. You can see the trees almost look like they're laying down in the water. So it's hard to see some of this stuff. We marked what we could for you, or what we could at least see. And here you can see there's a really good rock pile behind this dock. That dock's probably more like right here. That rock is where it says it is, but the image of the dock is a little jacked up. And they've also got some rock that's right in there too. So let's move back out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into this next one. So as we go into this next cove that's in here, pretty cool looking little place right there. But as we come in here, look at this point that's right here. Just absolutely juicy. Look at the rock that's all around it. You may even have like a giant laydown there. It's hard to tell, but it almost looks like a giant laydown. Maybe it's not, but anyways, it kind of looks like it, but definitely a really good looking point right there to fish around. As you come in, you've got another good secondary point with some really good rock on it as well. And then moving on down, you're just going to see little scatters of rock. You got some lay down there. You've got some additional rock that's right along this bank line. And then as you move further up in here, you're going to see some more laydowns that are over here. There's one right there. There's also another one right in here. I don't know if these are laydowns or pipes, but either or, they're definitely good things to fish around. Pipes, those fish just love to hang around those pipes and get really close to them. So anytime you see any kind of pipe or anything like that going into the water, you definitely want to go fish around it. Then as you move up here, we get all the way back into here. I guess this is Blowing Spring Hollow. As we get all the way back in here, there didn't see too much, not much of a creek channel, but there is a little bit of rock that's over here that you can see behind this dock. And then as we move down, you're going to find rock on the edges of all these points. There may be a little bit more right in there too. It's just hard to see. And then I like this dock too. This dock sets up pretty good. Nice little secondary point for them to hang out at. It's got a little bit of hard bottom as well with the rock, so you can't go wrong there. And then here you can see we're just finding those scattered pieces of rock. One's right there, one juts out right there. That looks really good. You got some heavier rock that's right in here, a little bit more in here, and then there's one of those fish attractor sites that we talked about on the Tennessee fishing page. Then we move around this main lake point. Obviously, again, you got more rock around here, around this point. It's a main lake point. Might not be as good as maybe this one because that one just looked awesome. But still, it's a main lake point, so you got to fish it. More rock here around these docks. And then I'm not sure what this is. It looks like a break wall. of some sort or something. I'm not sure. Actually, this may even be the shadow from whatever this is, but there's some type of a structure that's down here. And anytime you have those structures, especially when they're close to points, this one may be a little bit too far off. But you want to fish around that stuff. Definitely, you can always find fish attracted to things like that just stick out. There's nothing in the area, and all of a sudden you have this piece of man-made structure, whether it's a pillar or whatever it is. It's definitely something to check out. Then also, as you move in here, obviously this looks like a decent point, but if you move back away from that point and just come in a little bit, you got some really good rock formations right here that they can set up on, hide behind. You got some lay downs. So I could see this spot being a pretty good area to take a look at. Also, as you move up here, you got a little bit of rock on the bank lines, and then you've got another one of those Tennessee fish attractors. Those are obviously built more for the crappie fishermen, but as I've said many times before, you find the crappie, you find the bass for sure. Moving on up here, we've got some more rock. You can see right in this area, a little bit more in here, and then a little more right here on this corner. Again, this is a really good point right here, a secondary point in the back of a really long cove. So it's definitely going to be a good spot to look for fish as well as they move in and out. And then we've got some laydowns back behind this dock, but I don't know if you're going to actually be able to get to that or not. That'd probably be pretty challenging, but you can come up here and get off the edge of this dock at the very back, and you can see, I don't know what this is, if it's a big brush pile they put out here or what it is, but we put laydowns, but definitely something to take a look at. And then you've got a decent little creek channel that comes through there as well, and it goes right into that brush pile that was there. So let's move on down out of that pocket. Now we're going to come into here. We're in Chimney Hollow now. It's cool that each one of these have a name, and as we come in here, you can see you've got a little bit of a creek that comes through here. And if I move the water up, the water's going to push all of that up there. But the thing that I liked about this, obviously you got some rocks, some laydowns, a little bluff wall here. But right here, all of this just looks interesting. When you get these kind of contours and crazy stuff going on, you're going to find some fish hanging around some of this stuff. Anywhere they can find those breaks and stuff like that, they're going to be there. So do some investigating back in this pocket. We didn't mark anything there for you, but you can see you've got a little creek channel that comes through there, and then something's going on right in that area. So it might be a good place to go take a look. Then moving on down, we've also got some more rock, some more laydowns in here. And then we're going to get down here. Now we're in the Bruton Branch Recreational area. And as we get in here, I don't know if I said that right or not, so I apologize if I mispronounced it. But you got a nice boat ramp here with a lot of rock around it, little courtesy dock. Man, this looks good. It doesn't look like one that maybe gets used that much. There's not a lot of vehicles in the parking lot. Of course, it's January and it could be freezing cold this day. You don't know. But if that's not that active in an area, that looks like a really good boat ramp to fish around. It's got some really good riprap things around it. It just looks good, and it's somewhat isolated. There's not a lot of things along that bank line for them to hang out by, so that would be a great place for them to be attracted to you. And then as we move down here, we get into this last little pocket down in here. You can see there's some pretty good rocks, some riprap, whatever you want to call it, but all along this point right here. So getting in here and even right in here just looks really, really good. So go check that out. Got some more laydowns that are over here as well. Then as we get back in this pocket, we've got another creek channel that's back here as well. It's kind of a hot mess back here, so I wasn't really sure what we should mark for you. I guess we could have put a track for you right in here, but I'd say just explore the whole entire thing, and you can probably see that creek channel as well when you're on your Navy Onyx or your Humminbird or Lowrance. And then as we move up here to some shallow rock behind these docks, here's another couple of those ramps that these could definitely come into play because they're personal ramps. They don't get used very much. They're going to have a lot of algae and junk all over them. They look to have a little bit of rock around them as well. You can see a little bit there, some more rock in here. This one doesn't look like it has much, but these two definitely do. Those are going to be good ramps to check out. So I definitely go check those out. This little pocket that comes in here, it's very well protected as well, but it also has a little bit of rock down in there too. A little bit more rock over here on the bank line. If I zoom in, you'll see it. Rock there as well as that little point. I like that little point right in there. I like that little section right there. That just looks really good. You can definitely see me sitting up here and seeing if I can pick some stuff off that little point. Got a little brush pile out here. You can see it here. It's a pretty good looking brush pile. We also got another ramp here. This one doesn't have much rock on it, but just fished the ramp itself. Off this point behind this dock, you've got some rock. And then here you have like a little isolated rock pile that looks interesting for sure. And And then let's pull back, kind of show you guys where I'm at. I'm about right here. And what we're going to do is we'll probably go just a few more minutes, and then we'll cut it off, and we'll come back with another video that keeps us going. Here's another ramp that's right here as well. Some more riprap all along, or rock, whatever you want to call it, all along this little bank line here. These little boat, I don't even know what you want to call them, boat launches or whatever it is. They basically go up into a shed, and then they bring it down with almost like a cable car. But those fish will attract to those types of things. So, I mean, essentially, we could have probably put a waypoint here and just said structure, structure, and structure right here, because these man-made structures are really good fish attractors. The fish like to get around that kind of stuff. You've got a bunch of them right here on that bank line. So it starts kind of right where that rock symbol is. But you can see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, 5. We've got 5, 6, 7. 7 of those right there on that bank line. Plus you got a couple ramps, you got a little bit of rock. It's pretty interesting stuff there on the shallow side. Then as we move back in here, we're in the factory hollow now. You can see we've got some crazy little creek channels and stuff like that coming through, but nothing that really stuck out to me that said, hey, you need to mark this. But we did have the Tennessee fish attractor that was there. It's like right in the middle of that bay or that cove. And then as we come back here, we've got another ramp. This ramp doesn't look like it's been used much at all, and it could be a really good one to go take a look at. Now remember, we're looking at the water when it's down. When the water's up, it's going to look a lot different. So if I move this up to 2021, you're going to see that some of the stuff that we were looking at, you can't even really tell that it's there anymore. Now, where we were just at, not too great, but if we move up and say that rock that we saw off there, you can't see that rock now. So it's going to look a lot different when you go out there. Remember, what we're looking at is when the water is definitely lower. So then we're going to keep going down. We've got some more rock behind these docks. Another good rocky point to fish right here. Looks like we're in Dry Creek. Then we come down here. We've got another laydown that's out here. If I zoom in, you'll be able to see them. Here's a big old laydown right there. That looks like a nice little spot to pick up a few. And then you move down here and you notice there's a little transition that's going on here. So kind of sandy, dirty, and then boom, you hit this rock transition that's about right in here somewhere. So fishing that transition line and then also just fishing around where this rock is could be really good. These 3 docks plus all the rock that's around those docks, that could be an effective little area as well. You've also got some more rock out here off of this point. This one looks good. A couple laydowns here. There's one we missed, but there's another one there. So if you're fishing this one, you'll probably see that one just off to your left. Then moving down, we get into this. I believe we're in Dry Creek now. Let me pull back, kind of show you where I'm at. Yep, we're right here into Dry Creek. But as we come down to Dry Creek, we just got a few things to show you, some laydowns that are out here. Clearly, you've got some kind of a channel that's coming through here or something, but it's creating basically this little bluff that's right in here. So you definitely want to take a look at this. Take a look at the ends of them, right there where that rock is, and then up here, but also fish this area right in here, just like where I'm putting my little hand at. And then we'll also take a look at this point. This point's got some rock on it. It's got some laydowns on it. Got some more laydowns that are back in here and a couple more areas where you see some rock. Here's that main creek channel coming through here. Right in here, you've got some rock. This could be interesting because this looks like it might be just another creek, maybe possibly, or maybe this thing swings harder than what we can see. I'm not sure, but it definitely created some rocky spots right in there. This obviously is a big creek channel swing that's happening right here. So literally fish from this point to about right in there. Actually, I'd fish all the way to into that point. But that right in there is a high percentage area again that's going on there. And then there's your couple laydowns there. And then as we come out of Dry Creek, we come back up here to the main lake. We're on a main lake point, so that's probably where we're going to stop at for this video. And then when we come back, what we'll do is we'll go on down and then we'll go back up and finish at the dam for the first set here for Tennessee. But as we come over here, let's look at this hard spot really quick. Man, what a good looking point. Main lake point, river channel swing as well. It's swinging this way. Just all of it looks good. And you've got a really nice hard spot going on right in here. You can tell it's a very hard area. So definitely a good spot to go to try and find some fish as well. Hey, we haven't talked about it much on the video, but please go out and check out our website, simplisticfishing.com. We started off in Texas and it broke down several lakes here in Texas. In fact, I think we're over 100 something now here in Texas. And so we started to branch out, do some more lakes across the United States. You guys have been really good to us. And so now we've got a few lakes in Tennessee. We've got Chickamauga, Nickajack. Now we have this lake as well. So we're going to continue to add more and more and more. I know we're basically just going to follow this river system, continue to break them down. But please, if you can, go check out our website, because we have all of these waypoints set up for you to where we can either send you the digital file. You take that digital file, you put it on an SD card, you plug it into your graph. You have everything that we talked about today, plus you'll have all the offshore stuff that we haven't even talked about. And then if you don't have the technical capabilities to be able to do that, we can also send you the SD card. All you got to do with the SD card is put it in your graph, import the files in, and you're good to go there as well. I'm telling you, it will change the way you fish. It will allow you to break down areas of the lake faster than you've ever thought possible. Hey guys, until next time, I hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.